Hey guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and today it is time for my anticipated releases of 2022. There are two things that I love about a new year. In general, I kind of hate January, but there are kind of two things that save it for me. And the first one I have already done, and that is getting to set goals and resolutions. But the second one is getting to be excited about all of the new releases that are coming out. Everyone starts kind of announcing books that they have coming out towards the end of a year, beginning of a new year. It's a very fun time to be in the book community. So it is time for my anticipated releases. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge one for anticipating releases. Previously, I've never really been one to pre-order. I've never been one to really keep up to date on who's releasing what. I'm more of a, if I see it in store or I see it on the website, then I'll buy it kind of person, you know? So I've never been one to actually anticipate and research releases before. This year, there were already 4 books that I was anticipating, 2 that I had pre-ordered already. One isn't available for pre-order, and the other one I think I will be pre-ordering at some point. So there was already 4 that I was really excited about already and knew about and have been keeping up to date on. So then I just found a couple more, put it into a list, and Bob's your uncle. Here we are. If you guys like the sound of this video and you would like to see more, then do feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and check out some of my other videos. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. You can also feel free to check me out on my other social medias at Page in Chapter. You can see more behind the scenes, what I'm reading, how I'm reviewing it, as well as any other random thoughts that I may have. That's what social media has become. Let's get into my anticipated releases for 2022 before I scare you away. So to go through my actual pre-orders first, the ones that I was so excited about that I actually paid money in advance to make sure that I got them on the very day that they came out. The first book is a very highly anticipated sequel to a book that was one of my favourites of last year, and I will be rereading this either this month or next month to make sure that I am ready for the release of this book, and that is House of Sky and Breath, the second Crescent City book by Sarah J Maas. So yeah, I pre-ordered this. I want the first edition. I want it the minute it comes out so that I can read it straight away. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos talking about Crescent City, most recently my top 10 books of 2021 video, House of Earth and Blood, which is Crescent City book 1, follows our main character Bryce as she teams up with a fallen angel called Hunt to get to the bottom of her best friend's murder in this urban fantasy setting where different political factions are made up of different magical creatures. If I remember rightly, it had a really climactic ending. There was a bit of a cliffhanger. There were a lot of loose ends in terms of the romance element of this book. It is a very solid fantasy romance. The fantasy is solid and the romance is solid. It's honestly one of Sarah J Maas's best works. And I am just so excited to see what happens in this next book. I haven't read any of the synopses because once you already know you like a series, I just don't see the point in reading the individual bios for each book. I know I like it, I know I'm gonna read it, I may as well just go into it a bit blind. I do have a feeling there might be a love triangle in this book, or a love triangle brought in, or another love interest brought in this book. It's kind of Sarah J Maas's MO, and I'm just making a prediction now based on what I know, that there will be another love interest, and we'll have to see if I enjoy it. I've never enjoyed the way Sarah J Maas has done it before, but maybe this time she will have some subtlety. Maybe it will work for me this time. And I loved the first book so much that I really want to love this one. I'm hoping for the best. So I did actually pre-order this one quite a while ago. I don't remember when, but basically the minute I found out it was announced, I thought I better get on and pre-order this. I'm very bad with continuing series, and I am very good at purchasing books and new series, but I really struggle with buying continuations in series. So I just decided to pre-order this book whilst I was hyped about it. and then I would have it and I would have no excuse to not continue with this series, because as I said, we're getting better about the series thing. So that is book 1 on my anticipated releases, and it actually comes out very, very soon, so I'm super excited about this one. And then the next book that I have pre-ordered I'm even more excited about, and that is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. So I am a very new fan of V.E. Schwab, but I absolutely adore every single one of her books. Don't think I've read one that I haven't enjoyed. I saw, as soon as she posted about Gallant, I saw it. I just decided to pre-order it. It's V.E. Schwab. And not only did I like just get a pre-order of Gallant, I got like the special Waterstones edition, and it's also signed. I'm gonna have like a Waterstones signed first edition of a V.E. Schwab book. And sometimes this is why it's good to pre-order, okay? Like, just, you get special editions of things when you pre-order, and I think that it might be turning me into a pre-order kind of person, that I can make sure that I'm getting like super nice, pretty special editions that you might miss out on if you just wait until you go into a store to find it. So I am super hyped about this one. It sounds so good as well. So this follows our main character, Olivia Pryor, and her whole life she has been missing her parents and her voice. She does not have those two things. And as she is finishing up at school, she receives a letter from a long-lost uncle that she wasn't aware that she had, and he's invited her to come and stay with him at his estate, Gallant. However, when she gets there, she discovers that this letter was a very, very old letter and that her uncle has now actually died, but she is allowed to stay at this estate as long as she follows a strict set of rules. And one of these rules involves hanging out in the garden, where the garden borders a magical realm. So it sounds very, very V.E. Schwab, and she's never let me down before, so I can't see her letting me down this time. I'm very, very excited about it. I won't lie, I'm more excited just to have a very pretty cover and a signed edition than I am about the actual book, but I am still very, very, very excited about the plot of this, and Waterstones are still selling those editions. If you want to go and pre-order one right now, go and get on that. And so those are the two that I have actually pre-ordered, and so we're now on to the second section, which is books that I am super excited about but have yet to pre-order. And so the first book is The Merciless Ones by Namina Fauna. This is the sequel to The Gilded Ones, which also made my top books of 2021 list. The Gilded Ones is a YA fantasy that follows our main character, and she is deemed to be impure by society, both because of the colour of her skin and because when you cut her, she bleeds gold instead of red, and she can use this gold to create armour and all sorts of, like, it's real gold that runs through her veins. And so this book takes place 6 months after the events of the last book, and chaos is kind of ravaging this kingdom. There's all kinds of rebellions and wars and upbringings and things going on in the kingdom, and our main character is sent to continue the work that she started in the first book. I'm trying really hard to do this without spoiling anything. I hope you guys appreciate it. However, she keeps seeing this symbol on the walls, and this symbol is preventing her from using the powers that she discovered in the first book, and is a sign that there is a much, much darker force threatening the kingdom that our main character is going to have to deal with. It sounds very, very good. It sounds like a perfect continuation to the next book. And the thing about these books is, when I describe them or I think about the plot, they don't sound as good as they are. So what I really loved about the first book, which didn't come across really in the synopsis, is that it is very much a discussion of a patriarchal society, and not just of what a patriarchal society looks like, but in terms of how women react and band together within this patriarchal system, and kind of looking at the effects of this system on society in a much broader sense than just women are treated like crap, you know? So that's what I really loved about that book. It felt like it went beyond the YA genre in terms of its social analysis, and I'm really excited to see what kinds of social analysis comes into this second book, because I am sure Namina Fauna will not let me down, so I am super excited about this one. And then the next book is by a very, very, very recent favourite author of mine. She is now completely insta-bi. I low-key am like desperate to be her best friend, so if anyone knows if she's in the market for one, just point her in my direction. And that is Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This is a spin-off duology to These Violent Delights. I have yet to finish These Violent Delights. It is my current read. Yeah, we're 11 days into the year, This is my first book of the year and I've still yet to finish it. But I can quite confidently say that this book is going to be a 4 or a 5-star read. I am absolutely loving These Violent Delights. You can best bet that I am immediately then going to go and order Our Violent Ends and I'm going to binge read that. Foul Lady Fortune, I don't know if it's even really been like properly announced, but Chloe Gong has been talking about it and it's in her bio and she said it will be coming out in the autumn of this year. It's not available for pre-order yet. We literally don't know anything else about it other than autumn 2022 and spin-off for These Violent Delights, kind of set after the events of These Violent Delights following a character we've already met. I have my suspicions of who I think it is. Let me know yours. So yeah, I will be pre-ordering this one the minute it becomes available to pre-order. I want special editions, I want signed editions, I want whatever I can get my hands on. So yeah, I am super excited about this one. I really wish that I could tell you more, but we literally know nothing other than the title. I cannot wait for it. I absolutely love Chloe Gong's writing. I love so much history she is able to bring into her books. It is everything that I want to be able to write. I cannot wait for more Chloe Gong books. And now we are on to the last section of books. Books that I am anticipating and very excited about, but not enough to really go out of my way to pre-order. So the first book is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. This is about a little town or village or world or something where they believe that when they sacrifice a girl to the sea, the gods may fall in love with her, and if they do fall in love with this girl and she is the one, then they will stop plaguing this little village with storms and bad fortune. And so every year they sacrifice a girl who they believe could be the one to these gods. And one year it is the love interest of our main character's brother who is being sacrificed. And in this world there are very, very strict rules about interfering with this sacred rite. And when our main character sees her brother trying to interfere and risking his own life in doing so, she throws herself into the ocean and offers herself as a sacrifice to prevent her brother from getting himself into some kind of danger. And she discovers a lot about the world of gods and spirits down under the sea. And this just doesn't sound like anything really that I've ever read. It's a very, very, very cool concept and it's different. It seems like it could be very cute, but it also seems like it could be really, really like high fantasy. I don't know what to expect from this book. I like not knowing what to expect, and I just think that this book could be very, very, very fun. So it is on this list. I don't know when I will get to it, probably not the minute that it comes out, but I do think that it's going to be a very fun read. We then have Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, and this one sounds fun because it sounds like a very classic YA fairy tale retelling, but as far as I'm aware it's not like a specific fairy tale that it is retelling. It's just seems to have the same kind of structure of a fairy tale, almost as if the author is creating their own fairy tale. So this follows our main character and she is desperately trying to get her sister out of the abusive royal marriage that she is married into. There was no happily ever after there. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible marriage, and our main character desperately wants to save her sister, and so she has to complete 3 very impossible tasks in order to do that. And along the way on this journey of trying to save her sister and take down the royal family and complete these tasks, she meets various different characters, like a very reluctant fairy godmother or a familiar. It just kind of seems to have taken lots of different elements from different fairy tales and is like putting a twist on them, is adding a little bit of humour, is bringing them all together to be this like merry band of thieves, it feels like almost. And this book just seems so fun. I'm worried that it might read a little bit young for me or feel a little bit young for me, but I'm very willing to give it a go either way. And I do really like the concept of this book. It just seems super, super fun. I'm really, even just from reading the synopsis, I am really excited to meet some of these characters that she meets on the journey, these little side characters. Side characters can make or break a book, and I think that these ones are going to make it. I think they're going to be so funny, and I'm really, really excited for this one. Haven't really heard anyone else talking about it. Found it in the depths of like a BuzzFeed article, I think. One of those types of websites. I really like the title of this book and the vibes that it is giving me, and I just feel like I am meant to read it. So it's on this list because I want to buy it, and that's kind of what the point of this list is. And then the final book that I am anticipating the release of in 2022 is one that I do not know how to pronounce, and that is Babel or Babel by R.F. Kuang. So R.F. Kuang is the author of the Poppy War trilogy, which I've read the first book and I loved it, but it is very, very, very dark and heavy. But the same author has another book coming out this year, and it sounds even more fantasy, less war fantasy, more magic fantasy, and I am so excited about this. So Babel is the world's centre for translation and magic, and it is these benefits that they get from using magic and translation that have been helping the British with colonisation and taking over as many countries as possible and being successful at that. And this follows our main character, and he is a Chinese orphan, but he's been raised in Britain, and when he gets a job at Babel as a translator, he is very much forced to kind of choose between serving this organisation and feeling like he's betraying his homeland. And so throughout the book he has to choose whether he's going to continue working at Babel as a translator and help the British with their colonisation, or join an anti-colonisation movement. And I can just see myself learning so much from this book. It again feels like nothing else that we really have on the market. Colonisation is something that I would like to learn more about, and from this type of perspective, not just the British were so successful, here's what you need to know about how great Britain is. That I don't really want to know that narrative. I want to actually know things about colonisation and the experience of colonisation, and I'm really hoping that this book brings that in. Knowing R.F. Kuang and having read The Poppy War, at least the first book, I have a feeling that this book's probably going to kill me, but that I am really going to learn a lot, and I love the way she writes. I think she writes very, very, very well, and I think she writes very solid fantasies. So I'm very, very excited about this one because I want to read more of her books. I am just very scared of the ones that she has out. So I think this one will be really fun, and I actually could see myself maybe pre-ordering this one. I was torn between which category to put this one in, but yeah, I am super excited about this. And so there is my list of anticipated releases for 2022. It's a very short list. I am really not one for anticipated releases. I don't think I even did this video last year because there just weren't any that I really knew of, but I've been getting more into anticipated releases in these past couple months, the last half of the year or so, and yeah, there were actually books that I had pre-ordered and I'm like aware that they're coming out and I'm anticipating their release, so I thought I would share them with you because this is a new experience for me. I don't normally react like this to books, but it's going to be a good year for reading. I can tell. I'm very excited about what this year has to offer book-wise. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments what some of your anticipated releases are for this year, because I am always on the lookout for more. Let me know if you are anticipating any of these books and why, and we could just have a chat about some upcoming books and get really excited about it. If you guys enjoyed this video and you would like to see more, then do feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I just scratched myself. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. You are enjoying everything that you are reading, and there are lots of books that you are looking forward to reading, and I will see you next week for my next video. Bye guys.